I've been to Israel, I've been to Venezuela, South America, and now I'm fixing to go to Greece.
Greetings, I'm James Gross, and this is my lovely wife, Karen Bozeman Gross. In June of 2007, we took a delegation to Venezuela, South America. Why did we do that? Because I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Venezuela, South America from 1967 to 1969. And that delegation was made up of Dr. Webb Evans.
Dr. Webb Evans, the founder of the United American Progress Association, decided to join this delegation after a presentation at a UAPA meeting. He came to one of our organizing meetings. He heard our presentation in depth. He met some of the people responsible for our safe passage, and he decided to sign up. And so Dr. Webb Evans was a part of our delegation.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know for years Dr. Webb Evans has preached by black to you, me, and everybody he's come in contact with that's a black skin.
Mistake black people are making, they're not learning to march with their dollars to the right place. I'm proud of what they're doing here. We should be doing this every day. Nobody but black people live in one neighborhood and spend most of the money where the people live somewhere else. How many black-owned businesses will you find in Chinatown? How many will you find in Greektown? How many find in Koreatown? You won't find any. But in our town, you find everybody running more business than us. Black people got to have more than a church. Tomorrow I'll be speaking to 20, 25 pastors, telling them we can't tell people only about heaven. We got to get them straight here on earth. You can tell them all you want how good it is in heaven, but we got to do more to get them out from the hell they in on earth. Thank you.
In his trip to Venezuela, Elder Webb discovered many examples of Kujichagulia. In the Barlovento region, along the Caribbean coast of Venezuela, he saw the huge government-run cocoa processing plant, controlled and managed by Venezuelans of a darker hue. He experienced cocoa processing in a home setting and tasted homemade chocolate treats. He listened intently to the lectures about Afro-Venezuelan resistance movements that assisted in the freedom from Spanish rule, as well as the resistance against slavery. Resistors were called cimarrones, a name which we saw in the finished cocoa products and other manufactured products. Professor Jesus Chucho Garcia, author, lecturer, and professor of history, provided insight into the past and present efforts of the Afro-Venezuelans to seek self-determination, or Kujichagulia. Accompanying us was the Consul General of Chicago, Martin Sanchez, whose family was from this part of Venezuela. Many times he was even overcome with emotion as he traveled with the delegation throughout this area. Often he would have long discussions with Webb about the changes he had seen since the Chavez regime took office and the positive impact upon the local residents. We visited the little village of Curiepe, sometimes known as the seat of the practice of the African drum and dance. It's also known as the land of the tambores. A huge statue of the drum indigenous to this area marks the opening to the village. Curiepe is also the site of a well-attended festival in mid-June called the Festival of San Juan de Bautista, or in English, St. John the Baptist. The 3-day festival was a holiday for the Venezuelan slaves who celebrated San Juan de Bautista on 2 days with visible merrymaking, and on the 3rd day they secretly celebrated San Juan de Congo, the saint that protected their resistance efforts against slavery. In addition to the cultural focus, there were linkages with African American heroes such as Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as thought-out technical advances for this region.
When we went to Puerto Cabello, the town in which I performed my Peace Corps duties from 1967 to 1969, the Venezuelan people continued to be in awe of Brother Webb and his stamina. During our visit to 14 Solano, a major protective fort against pirates to the town of Puerto Cabello, Webb put all of us to shame by sprinting ahead and easily climbing up to the top of the fort, where we could see the whole town in the ocean, the Caribbean Sea, I should say.
We were moved to create a DVD that shows more footage of Dr. Webb Evans, his philosophy, his trip to Venezuela, and his last public interview, which includes his sister Bernice and his close friend John Jackson.
The light of God surrounds us.
The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
The power of God protects us.
The very presence of God watches over us.
The very presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are.
Wherever we are.
Wherever we are.
Wherever we are.
God is.
God is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Hello, I am Brother Minister Raheem Kasset-Aten. I am the founder of the Temple of Mercy Association in Chicago, Illinois, but I'm also the president of the United American Progress Association, whose founder is our own Dr. Webb Evans, a.k.a. Mr. Buy Black.
Please order this historic keepsake today. And in the words of Dr. Webb Evans, buy black.